We're back with another vlog. We're doing an install today, courtesy of the Mod Garage. My boy Brian out there hooked it up with a lovely APR splitter for the car. And I'm gonna answer your question now, because I know half of you are gonna ask this. Are you bolting it to the chassis? Well, yes, we are. We are actually bolting it to the chassis, so it is going to be an actual functional splitter. So don't even go there. So, with that, I've already got everything set up. So we're gonna start running through stuff. Once we get the splitter installed on the car, we're gonna go out, we're gonna do some cinematic shots with the DJI so I can get some more practice with that. Slowly coming along. I also got the nifty 50 today. Well, I got the nifty 50 yesterday, the 50mm Canon lens, which is absolutely prime. And I got the EFM to EF lens adapter today. So I'm gonna go give that a try. Get my 22mm pancake lens tomorrow. So we got all these other lenses coming in, so we'll be able to do more than just what this kit lens can do. So with that, let's jump in it. So APR provides good things. We have 2 turnbuckles from them. They get this nice looking pamphlet as well. I'm not gonna use it, but it does look good. I like it. Some instructions that say that all splitters are a custom install. Nothing is plug and play. Understood. A whole bunch of nuts, bolts, hardware. Gonna need an Allen key, drill bits. I have an impact and a drill. A pop clip remover tool guy. 3/8 ratchet with a 13mm and a small extension. 2 13mm wrench guys. And then I have my Sawzall because I might cut a portion out of the splitter to be able to do oil changes a little easier. But once we get to that, we'll get to that portion. So we're gonna get the hood popped, get the bumper pulled off, and start getting this guy ready to be set up. To remove the top portion of the bumper to get it free, there are going to be 6 10mm bolts, which I'm gonna use an impact for, and then 3 pop clips, which if you have a pop clip removal tool, I recommend using it because it's gonna make your life a lot easier. Once you've got the bolts and pop clips out, go ahead and take them, set them somewhere you're not going to lose them. Grab the flapper do, set the flapper do aside. Once we put the bumper back on later, we're going to need this. So set these aside, and then we'll jump to the underside of the car. Alright, on the bottom side of the car, all you're going to need is the pop clip tool. I don't know how many pop clips there are. There's 3 or 4 of them up in the front, 2 or 3 of them over here on the side, 1 or 2 of them on the edge of the bumper. So we're going to pull those out real quick and set them with the rest of our hardware. With these out, we're gonna set them aside and then get the last 2 clips. There's gonna be one on the top of each fender, about right up here. So we're gonna pull those out, you just push them in, pull them out, and then the bumper will come off. Bam. All right, ready to pull the bumper off. I'm gonna set these down and then we'll get ripped off. And well, bam. The bumper's undone. So now we're gonna take it, we're gonna move it over here to the bench. All right, so I've got a couple options here. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to mount the splitter to the lip and then the lip back to the bumper. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the lip off the bumper so we can do that first. Alright, now that we've got the lip off the bumper, we're going to set the bumper down, put the splitter back up here, and then set the bumper on top of that. And then I'm going to move the camera over here so everyone can see what I'm doing. Alright, what my game plan is here is we have these small, like, crush washer guy, bolt holder dealios that came with the factory lip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a small pilot hole through each one of these into the splitter and then up that hole so that I can feed the bolts up through to have the lip mount back to the bumper afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drill all those beginning holes, and then after that we're going to go ahead and line up the holes that we want for the splitter to mount to the lip. Alright, that plan failed relatively quickly because I don't have clearance to get the drill in there. So we're gonna go through with a Sharpie and mark on the bottom side of the lip which one of these I need to drill out. So that way I can just take the bumper off and drill them out that way. Alright, so now that we've got each spot marked that we need to, we're gonna go ahead and drill them out real quick with a pilot hole. This is a 3/32 drill bit, so that way it's a small hole. Small little hole. So small hole, we'll go through, drill these out, and then step them up here shortly. Alright, now that we've got all of our pilot holes started, we're going to go ahead and take the lip off and then drill all the holes all the way through. Alright, with all the beginner holes drilled, take a rag, wipe it all down, get all the carbon dust off. Be sure not to breathe this stuff in or get it on your skin. It is very itchy and it doesn't feel good. So now that I've got all my starter holes here, we're gonna go ahead and step up the bit up to we're gonna go up to a 5/32 now, and we're gonna ream these holes and make them a little bit bigger. So now that we've got our 3/8 holes reamed, I've gone through and done a couple already. We're going to use a step bit and ream them up to the highest size. I'm not quite sure what this goes to. I think it's 3/4 of an inch. But the reason that we're doing this is not to connect the splitter to the lip. This is going to be to connect the lip back to the bumper. So this is an 8mm socket. This is what the bolt is that goes into the small little retaining hardwares in the bumper for the lip. So what this will allow me to do is get that 8mm socket up through the splitter to connect the lip back to the bumper. So once we get all these holes reamed out, we're going to go ahead and start drilling out the holes to connect the lip to the splitter. With all the access holes now drilled up to 3/4 of an inch, I have a trash can here. I'm going to wipe all of this carbon fiber residue, particulate into this trash can. This is nasty stuff, guys. You don't want to breathe this in if you can avoid it. You don't want to get it on your skin. So we're going to go ahead and get this wiped down, get the lip staged back up here, and then start mounting the lip to the splitter. Just so you can get an idea of what I meant by these access holes. So this is the access hole that I just drilled up to 3/4 of an inch. The lip will sit through that, so that way I can get the bolt and an 8mm socket up through here to reconnect this back to the bumper. So now what we need to do is mount the lip to the splitter, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge up here on the front because there is not, oh my god. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge up here on the front because there's not a lot of room to be able to mount this. So we're going to start at the edges and work our way up. Alright, so what we've just done is we've got the splitter lined up with the lip and the lip lined up with the bumper. So we want to do this before we drill any more holes so that we know where to drill for our mounting holes for the lip to the splitter. So to do so, I've got this Sharpie and I'm going to mark on the corners here, here, and up here reference points so I know where to position the lip when I take the bumper off to drill these holes. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get those marked real quick. With these marked, we're going to take the bumper off and then start looking at mounting positions for the lip to the splitter. So now we've just got the lip on top of the splitter. So I'm going to start over here on this corner here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do one here, here, and then up here on the other side of this bracket. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and that'll be 6 of my 12. I'll probably do 2 up here, that'll be 8, 2 up here, that'll be 10, and then 2 up here, that'll be 12. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start drilling on this side, and we'll move our way around. So we're going to start out small. We're going to go from a, where to go? We're going to go from a 3/32 drill bit up to a 5/32 up to a 5/16. So we're going to send it when we get to the 5/16. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these pilot bits through the lip into the splitter. So now that we've got our holes drilled, you can choose how you want to run these bolts up through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the bottom, stick the bolt and washer, or the nut and the washer, bolt and washer up through, set it on top of the lip like that, then throw the other washer on and put our bolt on. Just to show you guys what I was doing earlier with these access holes. So these clips right here are where the bolt is going to come up through here. go through this clip and connect the clip to the bumper itself. Now here you can see we have the splitter connected to the lip via the hardware that APR provided us. So we're gonna go around, we're gonna do the other side, get that side lined up, and then do this front side so that way we can make sure it all stays in line. We got 3 bolts on this side, 3 bolts over here, 1, 2, 3, bam. Now, here comes the somewhat mathematical part. If you have a pair of calipers or anything that's precise in measuring, I recommend using them. So the way I'm doing this is this hole here, from the inside edge of this hole up here to the beginning of the lip is going to be 21.5 millimeters. I know that the width of the lip on the bottom side is 20.84 millimeters, measuring with the calipers. That's if you follow the same orientation I did, you can use those numbers. So I need to go 30 millimeters up from the edge of the hole on the inside to the edge of the lip and drill my holes from the back side to be able to get in here. So I've already gone and done the other side, so I have a general idea of where to drill these holes. There's a little bit of guesstimation that goes into this, along with maths and guesstimation. So I know that the hole that I need to drill needs to be about 10 millimeters to the edge of the lip to be able to go through the lip and the splitter. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and drill 3 pilot holes for the next set, and we'll start reaming those up. Now we've got all these in, we're gonna flip this over, put on the washers and the bolts that go along with these. All right, now that we've got them all set up and ready to go, we're gonna go ahead and start tightening these down. Now that we've got the splitter tightened down to the lip, we're gonna go ahead and bolt the bumper back to the lip. Now that we've got the splitter mounted to the lip, we're gonna go ahead and mount the lip to the bumper. So those access holes that we drilled earlier, we're gonna go ahead and take the, I dropped one. Fuck. We're gonna go ahead and take those 8 millimeter bolts that we had and hardware and mount it back up. All right, so we got all the bolts going along the bottom of the bumper tied down to the lip now. I'm going to show you the way I did it because I ran into a small issue with some of the factory hardware going through this. So I'll give you a look-see. So going through it, these are the factory bolts going through. It's like a slide washer and then a screw that goes through and it kind of squishes it down and compresses it. Those worked going all the way across for the access holes that we did. The one that didn't work was over here on the metal clips, which I have better lighting on this side, up here. So I used push pins. I drilled out that hole a little bit bigger just because I was having issues with it. Drilled it out, just put push pins there. Now we're ready to put the splitter rods on. As you can see, I already did one side, but I want to walk you guys through the process of doing the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here, I'm gonna mark where I want this splitter rod to go through, which is gonna be about right there. So I've got my first hole drilled right up here underneath the bumper where you're not gonna see any of the hardware sticking out. Now that we've got that first hole drilled, we're gonna go ahead and slide this first splitter rod up through that hole. So you're gonna take one of the washers, slide it on through, and then you're gonna run this up through that hole that you just drilled. Right here is where a bolt came up out of. You can kind of see the little nub of it sticking up out of the corner right there. So we're gonna grab one of the washers, slide that guy up and over, take the nut, and then slide that guy up and on and start to tighten him down. Don't tighten it down all the way, but just get it decently finger tight for now. Now that we have, now that we've got the splitter rod in the position that we want, we're gonna go ahead and line it up in the area that we want. I want mine to come essentially straight down like this, just because I'm not a huge fan of the whole angle of left, right, or anything like that. So what I'm gonna do is slide this open so I can get some length on it. All right, with that open, I'm gonna go ahead and line it up straight with my bumper. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this lined up and then drill the hole that it's gonna be sliding through and start bolting it down just like we did the top. All right, now that we've got our hole drilled, take another one of the washers, slide it over the stud, and then slide that stud through that hole that we just drilled. Take the other washer and the other bolt, slide them over the bottom portion of the stud. Once you've got the bottom one tightened now, go ahead and adjust the nuts to bring these up, and this will lock in the length. We're not going to tighten them down all the way yet. We're going to get them set. After you've got those done, go ahead and grab a 5/16 and then tighten these down. After you've got the top and the bottom part of the turnbuckle tightened down, go ahead and slide these nuts up to the portion where they lock onto the collar. Take a 10mm and tighten these down. You're going to want to hold this as you're doing it, both the top and the bottom. Now that we've got the splitter and everything installed on the car, I'm not going to be able to mount it to the chassis till tomorrow once O'Reilly's opens. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. Alright guys, it is the next day. I decided I didn't want to do the chassis splitter install all in one video, so it's going to be two separate videos. This one's going to be how to mount it to the bumper or lip of your car. The next one is going to be how to mount it to the chassis. If you're interested in both of those or one of them, feel free. I don't think everyone's going to do either way, so if you are, mount it up. We're going to walk you through it. Anyways, if the video helped you in any way, please give me a like. If you like the stuff we do here on the channel, give me a sub. It's always appreciated. If not, thanks for swinging by, guys. Peace out.